This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening. I'm Sabrina Brown. It's great to have you with us. Topping the news tonight, Grand Bahama is one step closer to becoming a major technological center. This past Saturday, Island Outsourcers, the company that will be managing the Ministry of Tourism call center here on Grand Bahama, held a job fair in search of potential candidates for employment. As Natalie Martinborough tells us, the job fair is just the first cycle in the job search for what is expected to become a leading employer in the months to come.
Hundreds turned out on Saturday for the job fair at the Pelican Bay Convention Center. The group Island Outsourcers is hoping to fill 100 positions in order to facilitate the relocation of the Ministry of Tourism's call center in Grand Bahama in November. Executives with Outsourcers were extremely pleased with the massive turnout.
We could only accommodated to probably interview about 400 people, but it seems that we've been working in groups of 20, and we've had probably 20 groups of 20 people in each group, and there are people out in the car park. It's been an amazing turnout, but it says a lot about what our economy is at the moment in Grand Bahama. We've had lots of very intelligent, successful people walking through the door looking for a job, and we're looking to hire them.
Island Outsourcers are looking to hire center agents, business unit supervisors, workforce managers, training managers, and operations managers.
It's great to see people happy about wanting to work for a company such as Island Outsourcers that has a cultural background in regards to, we build culture in our call centers. Therefore, people want to work for Island Outsourcers. ITEL BPO, which we also have as a label, is one that we do technical support, we do health care, whereas Island Outsourcers is more of a reservation customer service type brand that we do.
General Manager of the Ministry of Tourism on Grand Bahama, Betty Bethel, says they are assisting with the selection process.
We are the first client for the call center, and the numbers that will be answered when these potential agents pick up the phone will be the Bahamas. It will be our 800 Bahamas line, and there will be callers looking for information about the islands of the Bahamas, not just Grand Bahama, but all of the Bahamas product. And so we have to be a part of this process because we have an expectation of who will answer our phone, because they will actually reflect the destination, and we'll have to speak to the customer and sell the Bahamas.
The call center hopes to increase its workforce to 600 persons in the months ahead. Natalie Martinborough, ZNS Network News.
Well, Island Outsourcers is looking to fill over 100 positions in the new call center. The center will facilitate the relocation of the Ministry of Tourism's call center to Grand Bahama in November. Tourism Minister the Honorable Obi Wolshcombe, during a speaking engagement on Grand Bahama Thursday night, said this move will position Grand Bahama as a key technological site for the Caribbean and Latin America.
We have an opportunity, I believe, to cause for the world to want to come here for analytical work and for use of technology. Because not only are we going to create the call center, that's the first thing, but next week or week after, you're going to hear me talk about how we're bringing our total data to Grand Bahama. We're going to cause Grand Bahama to become where we put our digital platform. Tourism. Why tourism? Because tourism goes to the world. Why? Because then the world would know. The world would understand that you got a place with all the infrastructure in place that will cause for recognition of this island of Grand Bahama.
Wolshcombe said he has high hopes for Grand Bahama and the role technology will play in defining a new industry for this island. He said he believes it will serve as a springboard for other technological developments in the future.
If we could bring our social network in here, our Twitter, our Facebook, all to Grand Bahama, and the cause for the creation of what will happen here in Grand Bahama, because the Bahamas will be the first tourism country to ever create a 24-hour online television station. First one. Technology allows us to reach the world real time, same time. We couldn't do that and cannot do that today with television, because if you buy a television ad in North America, you got to buy a different ad in Europe. You got to buy an ad down there in Latin America and buy something else for China. How's that going to work? That's not going to work. But if you are online, you have access, and people could just access you all the time, and they could find that information. You could talk about everything you have in your country.
Transport and aviation officials made a third attempt to refloat the fuel tanker Formosa Falcon on Saturday, but they were unsuccessful. The tank ran aground about half a mile off Lovers Beach in 8 Mile Rock on Thursday afternoon during low tide. The next course of action is to lighten the ship by removing some of its cargo, which is expected to make the refloating operation easier. The vessel remains grounded under the supervision of a tug vessel, government officials, and safety representatives. Public Service Week officially launched on Grand Bahama yesterday with a morning worship service at the Central Church of God. The Minister for the Public Service was among those in attendance. He commended public officers for the important role they play in the country. Megan Shepherd has the story.
They are the unsung heroes of the country, and on Sunday a special church service was held at the Church of God, Coral Road, to launch a Public Service Week. Minister responsible for public service, the Honorable Shane Gibson, says it is important to show appreciation to the persons who often go unrecognized. He says since becoming minister, he has developed an even greater respect and appreciation for their work.
I think in many cases, public officers do a tremendous job in working behind the scenes and causing things to happen in government. And they're those sort of unsung heroes who we really give the kind of recognition to that they deserve. And since being appointed minister responsible for the public service, I've gotten to see behind the scenes what actually happens, because most of the times we look at the end product, but we don't realize the amount of work, the amount of time, the amount of dedication, the amount of sacrifice that actually goes in to making the public service work.
Also during the celebrations, persons who have been a part of the public service sector for 25 years or more will be honored. He also thanked those that have given years of dedicated service but are not retiring.
I just want to also say a special thanks to all of those persons who would be retiring from the public service. We know that now life will just be beginning for you, and I want you to know that it is this government's commitment not to just throw all of those years of experience out of the door. Even though we understand the importance of having a transition and a transformation in the public service, which we are working daily to do, we also understand the importance of continuing to use those persons who we would have trained and who would have caused us to be where we are today. We don't want to throw all that experience out the door.
Pastor of Central Church of God, Stephen Dean, says these are the golden years for those who are retiring, not because of age, but rather years of service. He says those who are prepared for retirement should be smiling on this day and will enjoy the years to come. He also thanked those in public service for their contribution to nation building.
Wherever we are, we thank God for you. Your contribution has helped to bring us to this point as we endeavor to build a better Bahamas. Now is the time, might I say, when you should sit back, relax, and enjoy life. You are now expected to reap the reward of your labors.
Dean's final bit of advice to public officers: trust God every day for all things. Megan Shepherd, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition continues right after this.